Hey friend, welcome to Milk and Honey with Lemon. The Bible says in Numbers 14:8, and if the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us safely into that land and give it to us. It is a rich land flowing with milk and honey. On this podcast, we talk about stepping into that overflow that God has for us by becoming those ultimate Proverbs 31 women. Hey, I'm Lemon. I am just like you, sister friend. I knew God had something more in store for me, but I couldn't see a way out of the laundry piles. And frankly, I resented that Proverbs 31 woman. How was I going to live up to the hype? That is until I found out how to really step into becoming this Proverbs 31 woman through leadership development. In this podcast, you're going to find financial freedom, leadership growth, and motivation so you'll be able to do all the things God has called you to do with ease and really step into that land of milk and honey. Welcome back to the Milk and Honey podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, and I'm so excited because I just met the coolest person from Thais. You guys will remember Thais was on the podcast a few months ago, and she introduced me to this amazing woman, Luna, that I'm looking at right now. She has started this company called Total Help, where it is one of the largest and most influential networks providing legal assistance for immigrants in the United States. She is an international speaker. She just wrote a book, which I'm excited to talk about. And then she gives back and she's a Jesus follower. So how perfect is that? So just thank you for being here, my friend.
First of all, I'm the one that has to thank you guys for taking your time to listen to me and to allow me to be here is already a reason for me to be thanking you. So thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your background, how you even started Total Help? How did any of that happen?
Sure. I'm originally from Brazil, came to the U.S., and my second job here in the U.S. was working for a law firm. And this was in LA, California. And at that point, I was working with the Latin community, not so much the Brazilians, but there were a lot of Mexican clients, Guatemalans. At that point, I saw how the impact that the firm that I was working at had in those people's lives to help them with basic help when they first come to the country with the immigration, family matters, criminal matters many times too, because of not understanding the system in the U.S. I used to dream as to, would be so nice if I could provide that for my community. Now, in California at that time, there were not a lot of Brazilians. Actually, I met one Brazilian back then, and there were no Brazilian community at that point. So then I moved to Florida, and in Florida, there is a huge Brazilian community. And that's how I decided to, okay, this is time for me. This is time. It's time for me to start my company. So I opened this company called Total Help. And the name was given exactly thinking about helping and how to help my community in a total. So it became the name of Total Help. So now we've been in business for 24 years. We basically start helping the Brazilians to navigate the legal system when they come to the U.S. So basically we help them with tourist visas when they get here, how to transfer that to a student visa in case that those people decide to go to college, universities. So we help them with the student visas. And many times we'll help them with residency, with naturalization. And then we start expanding to other areas such as family law, criminal law. So we basically have attorneys in all different areas. And this was done for the Brazilians, but little by little, we to the Latin community in general. Just before, I think it was 2020, that's when COVID started, right? So from 20 to 22, things changed a little bit. I was traveling all over the country, very busy, and I was looking for a way to expand the company, but at the same time, slowing down a little bit because it was very hectic. So at that point, thinking about giving back to my employees, I had at that point 30 offices in the U.S. They were really very close friends of mine. They work as much as I did. So the company became what it is today. So back then, right after COVID, I was thinking, how do I find a way to thank these people for helping me? And the funny thing is, COVID was such a difficult time for everybody, right? We send people home. We work from home most of the time. My result went down, just like most of the companies did. But in less than a year, we went back to 80 to 90% of the results just before COVID. So how can I thank these people for this? And I thought about it. Hey, why not maybe franchise or a license? So I hire a lawyer. We end up doing the license process. And before I offer to anybody, I went to my employee. I share with them what I was planning, and I wanted to thank them. And I said to them, because they're willing, I'll be selling the business to each one of you guys, and we're going to making payments. You don't have to buy the business and give me X amount of money. So I made an agreement with all these wonderful people, and we sold the business. And from there, there was 2021, end of 2021. So 2022, we started the company as a licensed company with the 3 offices. So 2022, we took the time to make sure that everything was in order, signing contract, training, all that. 2023 to today, so we are now 70 units. And we expanded outside of the country as well. So now we are in Brazil, we are in Portugal, we are in Spain, Australia, Belgium. So there are other countries that we are working on right now. So very happy with the results. And I learned that I just got that based on the fact that I'm willing to share. And I think that made a difference.
Yeah, I love that you're like, it's a heart posture thing, I think. And that's why I love talking to believers, because when you have a believer in business, like they're going to do something incredible with that. Not only are you helping the community, right? But now you're helping your employees and they're building something, and now they're expanding into other countries. So the offices in the other countries, are they like helping? So say you're in Brazil, are they helping Brazilians get the visas and everything before they come to the US? Or is it more like they're helping in Brazil?
Now is changed completely the dynamic, because the way that we start in the US is we're helping Brazilians to adjust to the legal system in the US. But now we're helping people in Australia. So we're helping Brazilians to adjust to the Australian system and helping them to register kids in school. So things are changing a lot. We had a very interesting experience. For instance, Japan. We are in Japan, and our office in Japan actually had a very interesting experience. We were thinking, how are we going to help people here in Japan? And we end up now doing a lot of translation. We have a program called School Moms. We help the Brazilian mothers with the translation of all the paperwork that is given in school to the kids, so they can do the paperwork and go back to school with the homework done. So there are a lot of little things like this that we are adjusting in different countries, but always to Brazilian, which eventually we want to open up to different communities. But right now we are expanding around the world for the Brazilians.
Wow. This is amazing what you're doing, right? This was never probably like on your radar to help it, like it's born from a need. And again, I think it's a complete heart posture thing, like being in service, being a servant leader, going out and doing the things the Lord's called you to do. And it's He presented you with a problem and was like, are you going to step up and solve the problem? And look at how He's blessed your obedience.
Lemon, it's amazing. I had an experience recently because, like I said, we're expanding around the world. And a friend of mine, who is the ambassador of Brazil in New York, she connected me with the ambassador of Brazil in Belgium. So when we got there, my husband and I were to have a meeting with them. And I was so amazed how they received us and how they provided to us all the information about the community. To me, the surprising part, I think, is how amazing that I never imagined that we would be able to help people outside of Brazil. Now we're talking about outside of the US. And I'm amazed that even the government is willing to come and provide me with the information so we can help the community, because they're giving us basically what are the needs of the community in those areas for us to see if we can help them. Total help is coming, and working with the government on the other things that the embassy cannot do. And it's been a blessing.
I have a friend, she has been in both the public and the private sector for her entire career. And she's like, what I found is how much the private sector can do so much more than the public sector ever can. And I think that's incredible because people don't realize how limited the government is on what they can do and the hoops they have to jump through. I think it's up to private citizens to step up and do that. And that's what we're called to do as believers, right? It's to be the church.
Yeah. Step in and do it, make the difference, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this. Okay. You end up doing this incredible thing. God has blessed this business so much. And now you've written a book and you're traveling and you're speaking. Like, tell me about the book. Tell me about the speaking. Tell me about all those kind of things.
Book was something that was in my heart for a long time, was on my bucket list. I always thought that I had to write this book. 2022, I decided to actually work on it. And I did, and I decided to launch the book in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. The book is called Luna Crescente. Luna is my father's last name, so my last name, now Luna Glory. But the name of the book is Luna Crescente, the crescent moon. The idea was to find biography with a little bit of it in business at the same time. So it's the story of Luna growing in the business. And then we end up giving tips and talking about franchising or licensing. That's what we do. So a little bit of my biography with a little bit of business there. And the whole idea was to inspire other people to do the same. And to be able to do that was amazing. So I went back to Brazil. I had in Sao Paulo. And now I co-author 2 other books. One was launched last year in October in Paris. The other one we launched in Spain with the help of the Brazilian consulate. What else can I say? It's been a blessing. Unbelievable. And those 2 other books, they are written by females. One is called, actually, both in Portuguese. Mine we already have available in English. Luna Crescente in English, we changed the name to From Here to There, and people can find at Amazon. So From Here to There is literally the translation from Luna Crescente. The other 2 is only Portuguese. It's basically a story of men, females that left Brazil, went to different parts of the world, and they are business owners and they tell their story. So very interesting book. And what we decided as a group, the money that we collected was donated to domestic violence groups that we support. That's in reference to the book. And the speech is something that just came, I think, natural with everything that is happening. I wasn't thinking about doing any public speeches, but I think because of the business background and your name start being out there in the community, some people that knew me and know my company called me to be part of event and speak about how I started Total Health, how did I get to where I am. So that's how it started. And then 2 years ago, I was invited to speak in a big event in Brazil, was an event just for females. And I was very happy to be part of that. That was in my hometown, Rio. And since then, I spoke in Harvard, also about business, spoken at Florida Stanford University, also about business. So it's usually about business, and we mix a little bit with a little bit of motivational speech and things like that.
I love this. Again, this is not what you had planned, right? But God always knew that this is what you were going to do. And how cool that it started, again, because of a job that you took when you first came to the US. And then it's transpired in this big, beautiful thing. And now you're impacting people all over the world. And something you said that I can go back and touch on. You talked about your husband traveling with you. Was he always like on board? Did you guys meet when you had already started the business, or were you together when you started it? What was that like?
First of all, my husband, I've been blessed for finding that wonderful person that shares all my dreams. And I think when you know that you found your soulmate, right? Yes, I did have my business already when we met. My husband is a lawyer. We met through the business. He was one of the lawyers that my company had a contract with. In fact, I used to live in Florida and he lived in New Jersey. Because of that, I ended up moving to New Jersey. That's why I'm here today. But anyways, I think my husband complemented the business a lot. One, because he's on a journey, but two, because he really believed in giving back and supporting the community. He ended up doing immigration. He's a great lawyer. Now he has 5 law firms and he managed these firms and we have other lawyers that work with him. But it's been a blast to have someone that shares the dream that I had. And not only that, to hold my hand and go with me when I want to do something. So when I said that I was traveling and he's with me, it's true. If I have a speech, say in Florida, he goes, he meets me there. If I have an award or something that I have to receive, we had to go to Europe last year about my book. He went with me. He's the first one sitting there applauding. He's really supporting my life. So can't thank God enough for that gift.
I love that so much because I have a husband like that too. He is like my number one cheerleader. And I think having a husband like that, it pushes you also to, because they're fully behind you. They're here to support you. And I'm like, I want to really achieve something with the full weight that you're putting behind me. And I know not everybody listening has that. And I know that can be super, super challenging to have that dynamic. And we've talked a lot too, especially before we hit record, we were talking about gratitude and what you're doing and these other businesses that you're supporting or cancer and orphanages and all these kind of things. Can you talk about how gratitude and faith and your relationship with the Lord has impacted you as a business owner and then what you're doing to give back?
I think everything that I have done, including the relationship that I have with my husband, has God's hands in it for sure. I totally believe that the reason that my husband and I met was to complete my dream, to help me to fulfill what I'm doing now. I know for sure that there is God's hand in our relationship. As far as the business, no doubt I grew up Catholic. Mother made sure as a kid that we had religion education. At a certain point, you can make your decision, but I made my decision to stay in faith and keep going to my church. I think I've been blessed 10,000 times based on what I do and what I get. I don't see any other way but to find ways to give back. That's why this year we decided to open Total Health Foundation. I go to Brazil every year to see the family. Every year that I went to Brazil, I always made a point to go to an orphanage and drop food, toys. If it was Christmas, make sure that we had Santa Claus to make the day for the kids, distribute some toys, that kind of stuff. I've been doing this for many years now. And this year we decided through Total Health Foundation to actually formalize the foundation and have other people help it. And now we have a board of directors and these people that is helping me, this girl, she just another team inside of Total Health. That one was the cancer survivor. So she said, I definitely want to be part of this foundation, Reggie, that you just opened. Then we have another person that has helped kids in orphanage. She was an orphanage herself. So she came in like, I want to be part of this. So thinking again, same thing that happened with Total Health that grew out of proportion. And I knew from day one that was something bigger than I have the same feeling about the Total Health Foundation because the people that are approaching me are people that actually want to do the same thing because they went through those things, right? So they want to make a difference. And again, all this, I just put in one place and I know one location and I know this is God in my life. I have no doubt about it.
I love everything that you just said. And I love how God brings, this always happens. God will bring the right people to you at the right time to accomplish his will. And what I think is really important about what you said is you've been doing this for a long time. You've been pouring back out into your community for a long time. And now you're bringing other people into the vision God has for you to fulfill a bigger purpose. And I talk to a lot of women, and maybe you could speak to this, but I talk to a lot of women who feel really uncomfortable with being a Christian and also like making money. And they feel weird about making money. But I sit here and I look at you and you went from 30 to 70 businesses because you were generous and you gave back. You were pouring out. You've got this foundation now and this nonprofit and a board of directors, and you're doing things out of provision. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit, just about how you've been able to do so much?
Sure. It's an interesting topic, right? I think in general, I think it's the way that we are brought up. People don't like to talk about money, or they don't see money and religion together. Money is something bad. I totally disagree. I think the money is the good thing. The more money I have, the more people be able to impact in life now. The ideas that I have now because of my financial situation changed completely. Because now I do think about not only helping one orphanage, but two, three. Now I think about helping cancer survivors. Now there's so many other people, other areas that I can eat. So money is not a bad thing. Money is a good thing. It just depends how you're going to use it. So I think it's how you're brought up. And even if you were brought up thinking that money was bad, it cannot be related to religion. And I think, oh, what can you do? If you had a lot of money, how many lives can you? I think money can be a very good thing. So it all depends what you're gonna do with that money. Money can be good or bad. It's you that is gonna determine how you're gonna use it.
I love that. I just had somebody the other day, she said to me, money's an amplifier. If you're a good person and you're going to do good things, that all it's going to do is amplify it. You're like, okay, I'm not thinking about one orphanage now. I'm thinking about three. I'm not thinking about this one area. There's so many areas that you can impact and
Exactly.
really be God's hands and feet here because of the provision that he's blessed you with, because you've been obedient to the things that he's called you to do. I think if anybody's listening, I think that's the biggest thing you can take away. Yes, I want to support everything you're doing. I believe in the work that you're doing, but I think the biggest takeaway is it started with some obedience and doing what the Lord's asked you to do and being in consistent relationship with him, because he's continued to bless these endeavors. And again, you're going out and you're making a difference in the entire world. Like, you're in 11 countries making a difference. And I'm so honored that I know you and I get to know people like you who take what the Lord has given them and they just run with it.
I'm the one that is honored to be here at this show. I have to say to you, and I start my day by thanking God every day for all the blessings. And I tell God every single day, here I am. Tell me what you want me to do. And I truly believe that the more you give, the more you receive. And I think God do bless businesses that think, or business owners that think this way. So again, we're talking about money. Money doesn't have to be bad. Money can be really good if you're going to put in the right?
I love this so much. If you had to leave the listeners with one final piece of advice or some insight, what would you leave them with?
Oh, it's stuff. There's so many things that we talk about it. So one piece of advice, never stop believing. There are a lot of people out there that they give up just before the miracle happens. So never stop believing. There are times that you think that you're by yourself, that it's not going to work, or you're not going to be able to do it. Don't stop believing. Keep trying. You're going to get there.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I have to have you back on just to talk about perseverance, because I cannot imagine the difficult moments. I think it's really easy to look at the work you're doing and the way God has blessed your business and your marriage and just all the things that you're doing, the nonprofit, all this, and say, wow, her life must be so easy. And how does it
Oh,
feel to be God's favorite? Right. But I know that there are some terrible things that you've probably had to walk through. We're going to have to come back, I think, to talk about just even perseverance and the belief that you have to have in order to achieve the things that you have achieved.
oh yeah. There are many stories that I can tell here. And like you said, I think we have to get ourselves schedule a different time and talk about, because people tend to believe that, oh, her life must be perfect now, but they have no idea, right? The amount of work, the amount of intensity, and the persistence that you have to have in business, life in general, in order to get where you want to be. I'll be more than glad if I'm invited again to talk about just that topic, because there were many times that I wanted to give up and I didn't. So I thank God for that.
Wow, you are so inspiring. Yes, I'm going to send you something so we can do this again because I would love to hear those stories. And I think it's important that we share those stories because especially with social media and everything, it looks like everything is sunshine and rainbows and nothing bad ever happens. But I think it's really important for, especially as women, to see what you have to walk through in order to achieve the purpose that God has for you. And I know He's not even remotely done with what He has for you, like these speaking gigs and the books and all of these things that are coming. I think it's just the beginning. Honestly, I think it's just the beginning for you and the work that you're going to do because of the relationship that you have and the heart posture that you have, this attitude of gratitude that you have. So I just want to thank you so much for the work that you do out in the world and the woman that you are. It is inspiring to me to
Oh,
see. Just thank you for that. And where can everybody go to connect with you? I'm going to link to the book in the show notes for everybody. So you guys can go get those. Go buy them. First, please go buy them because we all know what she's going to do with the proceeds when you go buy those books. So go buy them, if nothing else, to support the causes that she supports. So yeah, how can we connect with you?
sure. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Reggiani Glory, Glory. Or you can also find me on Facebook, Reggiani Luna. So don't be confused. Sometimes I go by Luna or Glory, but you can find me on the Reggiani Glory, Regiane, Glory, Glory. You can find me that way. I also have my own website. You can find me on LinkedIn. Everything with my name, pretty easy to find. But Instagram is the best way to find me. Okay. And I'll thank you guys. Whoever goes there on my Instagram today and say, hey, I listened to you on your podcast, you get a book. And your information, say hello to me, and you're going to get a book.
Oh, I see. She's a generous person. I thank you. Y'all, please go connect with her and just thank you for being here. Just so much. I'm going to go back and listen to this myself and take notes on the things you said just because it was so good. And just thank you for the way that you pour out and just the woman that God has created you to be. I am eternally grateful for you and the work that you're doing.
I'm the one to thank you guys. And again, thank you for taking your time. And I really hope that you, with this wonderful podcast that you have, we can touch people's lives as much as we want it, because that's what we're doing here. So thank you again, Lemon. And hopefully I'll come talk to you.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So next time, friends. Hey friend, what a joy it has been to share today's journey with you. If you found a spark of inspiration or a nugget of wisdom that resonated, would you bless someone else by sharing this episode with them? It could be the encouragement they need to step into their purpose and calling. Also, if you could spare a moment to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I really appreciate your feedback and it really helps our community grow. Remember, the road to discovering God's call for you isn't one you have to walk alone. So join me again next Monday for another episode where we'll continue to explore the depths of leadership and the heights of our heavenly calling. Until then, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep trusting in His plan. God bless you, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, friend.